This media is brought to you by Polyscope.
In the realm of tomorrow, where techniques mind, we ponder, we dream.
Good morning and welcome to ThinkFuture. It's show number 1091. My name's Chris Kalabukas. Thanks for joining us. So this week in aidaily.us, our sister publication where we talk about interesting news in AI, there was a raft of stories on being polite to your AI. And I thought that was a very interesting argument because there were arguments on both sides. Now, personally, when I started working with AI, when I started working with ChatGPT, 2 years ago, 2+ years ago now, I was always polite to my bot. I would say, please. I would say, thank you. I would say, could you do this or could you do that? I remember collaborating with a friend of mine on a project, and he was asking me as I was doing this, and we were sharing a screen, and I was chatting with ChatGPT, and he's like, why are you being so polite to your bot? And I said, well, sometimes I think I actually get better output this way. I actually get better output if I'm polite to my bot. And he disagreed with me. He said, I'm not polite to my bot at all. I tell my bot off, I do this, I do that. And I'm like, I don't know, I just have this feeling that I get better responses when I'm more polite with my AI. So the last couple of days, there have been two completely different articles on whether you should be or shouldn't be polite with your AI. And the anti-polite to your AI was that every single time that you use an extraneous word when you're making a query, it uses up power. Because that's what AI does, right? AI takes your query and then it takes it apart. And as it takes apart your query, it uses energy, uses electricity to take apart your query and try and figure out what you are asking for. And every time you put in a please or a thank you or a could you or anything to try and be polite, then it uses energy to take it, to find it, realizes it's not crucial to the conversation, it's not crucial to the query, and remove it. So there's actually a small electrical fee for using politeness. And this gentleman was arguing that every single time that we're polite to our AI, we're burning tons of electricity that shouldn't be burned. So that was one side of the argument. And then the other side of the argument was that we should be polite to our AIs, and the burning of the extra electricity is worth it because it keeps us as a polite society. And I think there's a lot of merit to that, because if you think about it, are we really going to get to a point where we're treating our AIs differently from where we're treating people? Are we going to get to a point where we have AIs and we know that they're AIs and we treat them like AIs, which means we don't use the polite terms, we don't use please, we don't use thank you, we don't use any of those terms with our AIs. But then when it comes to human beings, we would try and be polite with them. I think what's going to end up happening is that because human beings are pretty much lazy, actually they're not lazy, I keep using that term and everybody keeps saying, no, Chris, humans are not lazy, they're just resource constrained. They want to use as few little resources as possible to get a desired effect. So they're not really lazy. So they only want one way of interacting with other entities. They don't want to have to say, oh, this is an AI, so I can be rude to them, and this is a human, so I don't want to be rude to them. We either have to be rude to everybody, or we have to be nice to everybody. And I think I'm on the flip side. I'm on the side of the politeness. I think that we should be using the polite terminology to talk to either our AI or human beings, because if you think about it, at this point in time, AI is so everywhere, you have no idea if you're speaking to an AI or to a human. In fact, it's so good that a lot of times companies don't even tell you that you're speaking with an AI. It sounds just like a human being, and they don't reveal the fact that they're an AI unless you ask if it's an AI. So we're going to be rapidly moving into a world where we're going to be interacting with both AI and human beings at the exact same time, and we will not be able to tell the difference between the two. So are we going to go with a default not polite, rude way of doing it? Or are we going to go with a default polite way of interacting with everybody, whether it's an AI or whether it's a human? Why should we determine how we're going to react with other entities? Remember I said entities, not humans or AIs. Other entities in a polite way or in a rude way. Let me ask you something. When you talk to your Alexa, when you ask it to do things, do you say please? Do you say thank you? Are you nice to it? Are you nice to your AI or are you not nice to your AI? I think it's worth the extra effort to be nice. And as a matter of fact, what I think we should do, so if you're a developer in the AI space out there, I think what you should do is that you should purposely give better results when a human being asks you nicely, is polite in the conversation, as opposed to when it's very rude about asking you. I think right now they don't do that. I think they just parse out the terms and will give you the result either way. But I think we should maybe do a little bit of behavior engineering in there and actually give better results if we are polite to our AI. Don't you think that's a great idea? Because that way we can help make people in general, human beings, more polite. No matter what they're talking to, whether they're talking to an AI or a human, whatever entity they're talking with, they should be polite. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.
Pixels and philosophies merge and mold, a future untold, unseen.